Over the past week or so, I've been racking my brain trying to think about what I wanted to do as a Halloween look this year on my channel. I kept thinking of ideas and kind of shooting them down in my own mind because I didn't feel like doing them. They were a lot of work or too much energy or required things I didn't already own. And finally, I came to the conclusion that I just don't think Halloween makeup is for me. And so instead of doing a Halloween look this year, I'm just gonna do a really fun, playful fall glam look. So I have sort of a vision in mind. I know that I want to use this lipstick, the Kosas Weightless lipstick in the shade Royal, because it's been a really long time since I did kind of a berry toned look here on my channel. Aside from that, knowing I want to do something pretty glam and I want a bold berry lip, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. I kind of am going in blind here, and I really just want to do what feels best when I'm putting things on. I'm gonna jump in right away here with complexion, and I'm gonna kind of speed through it because it just won't be that fun. So you'll see in the little overlays here, I'm gonna be using my Thrive Cosmetics Buildable Blur Concealer mixed with my LA Girl Pro Conceal on my Peach Corrector for my concealer today. I'm gonna use my Smashbox Studio Skin foundation because it is probably the highest coverage foundation I own now, and I kind of do want that more glam vibe. And then I'm powdering today with my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. I have it in the shade 10 Fair Light. I will powder a little bit more later, so I kind of just did under my eyes and around my nose for now, but I want to use my Salt New York Cream Tint Pros today for a couple steps, and so I don't want to over powder before these creams. I am going to use the shade Light Medium here for my bronzer. These creams from Salt New York really are like foolproof. I mean, like I reach into this bronzer almost always when I'm doing my makeup off camera because it's just almost impossible to over apply. And so it's easy for me to just kind of go in heavy handed and then just keep blending until it all looks how I want. And now for blush, I want to use this lipstick as at least part of the look because I want to kind of get that monochromatic look between my lips and my cheeks, I think. So I want this, but I don't necessarily want it to be quite so purpley on my cheeks. So I'm gonna mix it with just a little bit of the shade Spice from Salt New York. So here's the lipstick alone, and I just don't want something quite that bold. I think my lips are gonna be bold enough. So I'm gonna tone it down with something a little ruddier, which is, you know, this Spice from Salt New York. So you can see next to each other, they're pretty different. And the Salt New York is also pretty sheer. So I think it'll help me just get a little more of like a wash of color rather than a ton of color on my cheeks. So there we go, that's the color I sort of ended up with here. I'm really excited about that. I'm just using that same brush that I used for my bronzer. Try to get a really good even blend here. Yeah, that's giving me the vibe I'm looking for. Yeah, that's like exactly what I was hoping for. I really love how this looks. So last up for my cheeks, I am gonna take the shade Beige from my Salt New York Cream Tint Pros. I'm gonna layer it over top of where I kind of have this stain on my hand from the cheek color. And then I'm gonna kind of mix that in so that I get a little less of an icy color and a little more of just like a highlighted version of what's already on my cheeks. I hope that makes sense and we'll see how it works. So just taking that shade, kind of mixing it in on my hand, and then back to that same brush. And I'm gonna just put it on the tops of my cheeks only. Yeah, that's a really nice subtle glow. I might just go in with a tiny bit of just the highlighter and kind of dot just right on the very tops. Going back to my Maybelline Fit Me powder here on a large brush to just put it around my chin and my forehead and kind of the lower half of my cheeks. All right, I am really loving this, and the eyes are a bit of a wild card for me this week. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with them, so I think I'm gonna do the lipstick next. And I don't really have a berry toned lip liner, so I'm using kind of a mauve. I'm using my ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade Oh Snap. It's just like a cool toned pink. It's kind of the best I've got. Yeah, that kind of bums me out. I wish I had something a little deeper. Like I wish my lip liner was going to be deeper than this berry, but it's just not, and that's okay. Okay, so there is the lip. It is a little less deep than I'd like, and I really do think that's because I don't have an appropriate lip liner for it, but I'm happy with it nonetheless. I love how it looks with the cheeks, and now I feel like I can start strategizing about the eyes a bit. I just hunted through my collection a little bit, and I feel like my Pat McGrath Labs is going to be one of the better options for today. And shockingly, I think I'm gonna go into this palette, and I don't know if I'm gonna use any of the shimmers. I actually have my eye on this matte, and I've used this in a different sort of like summer to fall transition look on my channel earlier this year, but I used it as an eyeliner because I didn't want my look to get like too dark or smoky. But I'm actually thinking this might be the perfect color to do just like an all matte eye look with today. I think it really like mimics the berry tones I have going on, but it's definitely a little bit more brown. So I think it won't like overpower my lips and my cheeks, but I think it'll complement them well. I'm gonna put down my Milani eyeshadow primer first, and then I'm gonna go into a different palette. I'm gonna go into my Charlotte Tilbury Smoky Eyes Are Forever palette. So we've got some pricey items today. I'm gonna go into the Love Eyes Trio and use this very light sort of cream color to set my eyes with. This shade from Charlotte Tilbury is actually almost like a very light pink on my skin tone. So I want it to do kind of some work of highlighting on my inner corner. And then of course I'll be smoking things out with this deeper shade from Pat McGrath in the outer corner. All right, and then straight into this shade from the Pat McGrath palette. I'm gonna use like a tiny little domed brush first, just to kind of place this right on my outer corner. And then I'm taking a clean brush from Prados Beauty, and I'm gonna start just very gently fanning that kind of up and out. Then I'm going to keep kind of alternating between those two steps. I'm always going to place the majority of the pigment right along my lash line because that's where I want it to be the darkest. But if I need to blend a little more up, I just need to add a little more and then kind of repeat the same exact steps over and over. This is exactly the perfect shade that I was hoping it would be. Before I do anything else, I'm going to switch over and match this eye up. I'm not actually sure what I want to do here. I'm wondering if I want to fan in a different shade or if I want to try to blend this really seamlessly like across my lid as a gradient. Not sure yet, so we're just going to match them up and see how I feel. All right, taking a little bit of that color on just the lower or outer third of my lower lash line. All right, I don't really want to use like a whole entire another color, so I'm switching to a super fluffy brush, and barely putting any of this product on it. And I'm gonna try to fan kind of along the edges here. Yeah, that's gonna work. Just to blend into this inner corner a bit. Wow, that almost looks like multiple shades. This is a really outstanding matte shadow. Unbelievable. I am losing a little bit of the definition out here, so I'll go back in with that more precise brush at the end, but I am so incredibly happy with how this looks. I was a little worried that it would get all too dark and I would end up with a very smoky eye, more than I wanted even. But this matte is just, wow. Okay, and then one last time back into the Charlotte Tilbury palette, into the Love Eyes shade. I'm actually gonna try to use my pinky and use it as sort of like an inner corner highlight. And I'm worried my eyes are gonna get a little lost in all of this. And so I am gonna go ahead and use just the tiniest, thinnest line of black liquid liner that I can on the top of my lashes. Okay, I'm doing brows and mascara off camera. I'm just using my e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil and my NYX Control Freak Brow Gel in clear. And then I'm gonna use my Merit Beauty mascara. All right, so there you have it. This is what I came up with, kind of based on the fact that I knew I wanted to wear this specific lipstick, and I wanted to do a relatively glam look for fall. This is the first time in like as long as I can remember that I've done an all matte eye, and I now remember why I love it so much. I mean, I just feel flawless, honestly. It makes me feel so good when I just have like a perfectly executed matte eye look. I feel like I finally got my berry toned fall glam fix. So thank you all so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.